Hi, in this session we are going to learn how to test mobile applications with Rapise. I am Dennis, Principal Software Developer at Inflectra. If during or after this session you will have any questions, please use the chat window for this workshop. Let's get started. This is really important topic because many consumer applications nowadays have web and mobile clients, and according to some research, more than half of network traffic is mobile traffic these days. Testing applications on mobile phones is very important. We have actually two major platforms for mobiles. It's Apple iOS and Android from Google. And on each of those platforms, we may have two types of applications running. There may be web applications running in a browser like Chrome or Safari, and there may be native applications built specifically for those platforms. Also, since the number of devices and different versions of operating systems is very high, and new versions of operating systems and new devices are released almost every year, we need to test on many of them. And this is why sometimes to do testing, we may need to use not real physical devices, but virtual devices. So we may use a simulator on iOS and use emulator on Android platform. And it brings us to the landscape that you can see here on the screen. This is what we'll be using for testing. Today, for demonstration, I'll be using the application called Crate, and it has all the sources published on the GitHub. Here is the GitHub place where this application is stored. You may clone it and you may build it on your own computer and run it easily. This application is a sample web and mobile application. And you only need to install Node.js to run this application. And since this application has web and mobile clients, we'll be testing three flavors of this application. So it will be web UI, native Android UI, and native iOS UI. To do testing, we need to do some preparations in our desktop environment. I will use two machines. One of the machines is Mac Mini running Mac OS. So I need this machine anyway to be able to test all iOS applications. I'll be using it to run my virtual devices, and also I will plug my physical devices to this machine. To be able to test, I need some software to be installed on this machine. I will need Node.js, NPM, Appium, Android Studio, and Xcode. Actually, Appium is something like, if you heard about Selenium for web applications, Appium is very similar, but it's for mobile applications. Appium is a server, and it connects to the applications and to virtual and physical devices, and it provides interface for other solutions to do testing. As other solution doing testing, I'll be using Rapise. Let's look at the setup in more details. Here is my Mac machine. First, to install Appium, I need to have Node.js installed on the machine. It is pretty easy to check if Node.js is installed or not. So you may open terminal and run a command node -v. So I have Node installed. Also, let's check that I have NPM on the machine. Yes, I have. If you don't have Node installed on your machine, then you may use this command. So it's brew install Node. Then when Node is on your machine, you may install Appium. To install Appium, you need to run npm install -G, it means global, and Appium as a package name. My environment is almost prepared. Also, let's check other softwares that I need for testing. I have Android Studio. So Android Studio is used to build Android applications. And what's important for us is that Android Studio includes Virtual Device Manager. This is a component that allows us to build virtual devices. We may build different virtual devices with different versions of Android IOs and different emulated hardware. It also contains SDK, and it allows Appium to connect to virtual devices and physical devices. To test IOs, I need Xcode to be installed on the machine. Here it is. This is Xcode application. It's used to build applications for IOs, and it's used by Appium to connect to physical devices and virtual devices as well. So I have everything installed and ready on this machine. And on my machine, I have Rapise installed, and Rapise will be connecting to Appium to perform recording and playback of mobile tests. Let's proceed to the first type of application we are going to test. First, we'll be testing web flavor of Crate application. First of all, I have this application running on Mac machine as well. How to run this application and how to install it, you may find this information here on GitHub. Okay, so let's start testing. First, since I'm going to test web applications, it's much easier to first do recording of a test right on the desktop, so without even using mobile devices. So I'm going to create a new test in Rapise. Let's call it Create Web Test. It will be web test, so I'm choosing web here. I'll use Chrome for recording. And I'll use RVL, Visual Language. Here is an empty test. I'm starting Chrome and navigating to the application. This is the application we're going to test. Start recording. Okay, next. So this is a welcome screens that are shown when you only first time run the application. Next, start. I will log in to the application. User Crate.com and very simple password. Login. Let's verify that we have at least one crate in our application. Actually, this application is about subscribing for packages with clothes delivered to your door on monthly basis. So it's kind of demo application, not a real service. Let's verify that we have at least one item for subscription. I'm pressing Ctrl+1 to open the properties. And let's verify that we have at least one subscribe button. And now I'm going to log out from the application and navigate to the home page. Okay, let's finish. Okay, appending my steps. So here is my test. And let's check that we can execute it first on Chrome. Click and play. And Rapise should open Chrome for me and perform all the steps. The next thing I'm going to do is to run this test on Android simulator. And I don't need to do any changes to the test to be able to run it on Android. I just need to do a few setup steps. Let's change the browser to use for playback. Here I have Android profile for my Android browser configured. So let's open it. And it's pretty simple. It contains the URL for Appium that will be listening for commands from Rapise. Also, as a browser name, it has Android. So if we expand this value here, we have different browser names. Since it's not actually something Selenium-based, we need to provide additional capabilities for running this test on Appium. To do this, I need to go to Inflectra knowledge base. Okay, and here in the knowledge base, I do search for mobile. And we have an article explaining how to run a cross-browser test on a mobile device. So we need to have profiles for mobile device. It's described here, and we also need to place some code for passing additional capabilities to Appium, and I will just copy and paste this code here into user file of my test. Here I just need to specify what specific device I need to use for execution. So since it's Android, so let's modify versions here. I have Android OS version 9, and I want to execute on Chrome browser. That's it. My test is configured for execution on Android. Click and play. Appium is running, so let's open our Mac host. Here is their simulator running. Appium now listens for commands from Rapise and passes actions to Android simulator. We can see that browser is opened. Let's magnify it. Browser is opened. In the terminal window, we see some login from Appium. It takes some time for application to load. Actually, mobile testing is the slowest one among desktop web and mobile testing. Now we see that the test is executing, and most of the time is usually consumed by connection process. When the application is running, then execution is pretty fast. Our test enters username, password, checks the grades, and performs logout. And we can see that everything works on Android. Now, in Rapise, we see their execution report. Works on Android. Let's do the same for iOS. Switching profile for iPhone here. Let's open it. It also contains the URL of the server that runs Appium. This is actually my Mac Mini machine. And the browser name is iPhone. And let's go to our user.js file. And here I just need to specify what is the device I want to use and what is the version of operating system it should run. Actually, I have simulator running iPhone X and iOS 11.4. Okay, so everything is ready for execution. Now I'm clicking play and switching to iOS, and we should see our test executing on simulator shortly. So Appium needs to install some additional components on the simulator. We see Safari opening. This is our application. Web version looks a bit quirky. This is why Create also has native applications for iOS and for Android. But there are many applications that don't have dedicated clients, and what we recommend to do for them is do recording on a desktop and then do playback on mobile devices. If application looks differently on desktop and on mobile devices, then make sure that when you open the application on your desktop, the browser has dimensions resembling the mobile phone. So in this case, it will be closer to what you see on the phone. So if the application is built with Bootstrap, it will have hamburger without these individual menu items. Okay, so our web test works on devices and on desktop as well. What we have next? Next, we'll be testing Android native application. And first, I'm going to record a native Android test. For this, I will create a new test. I will create it locally, and I will name it Create Android Test. This is a native mobile test, so I will choose mobile here in the list of choices. And I need to choose the profile for connecting to the device I'll be using for recording. I'll be using Android Simulator, and I have special profile created for Create. So I'm choosing it here. RVL. Okay, empty test is created. Let's look at the profile. So this is a real mobile profile, and it has URL of Appium running on the machine. Also, this profile specifies that I'll be using Android emulator. I'll be testing Android platform. The version of Android OS is 9. And here is in the app capability, I have the path to the application APK that I built on a machine. So you may get this APK probably from developers, and you need to put this file onto the machine where Appium is running and specify path to this file here in this app capability. Closing it. And now I'm ready to start recording my test. So I start recording. So let's make it visible and switch to Android Simulator. To do recording, I need to open Spy. So unfortunately, at the moment, nobody can record mobile test this way. You launch the application, you do your actions right on the mobile phone with your fingers, and something magically records your step. Unfortunately, it doesn't work this way so far. What works is that we can mirror device image in a mobile Spy and interact with this virtual representation. I will connect to my device. To do this in Spy, I need to click Get Snapshot. And it is connecting to the application. You may see Appium logs doing something. So actually what Appium does is installing the application on the device automatically. The application is running, and Rapise gets the image of the device that you can see to the right, and also you may see the tree of elements in this application to the left. So here is how we can do recording. Actually, the image to the right is clickable. So if you want to click on some button, you need to select it on the image. I'm clicking on Account in the right bottom corner. And from the toolbar of the Spy, I may press Tab. and it will pass tab action to this specific element. So you may already see on the left side that the application received my tab. And in the recording activity, as usual in Rapise, we see the name of the object and the action performed. Let's do login. I'm clicking email. So if you see this situation, it means that we have outdated snapshot. And to reload the snapshot with most recent data from the device, we need to click Get Snapshot button again. Clicking on email, and you can see that it is highlighted correctly. Here on the toolbar, I may specify the text I want to send to the element. So here I am typing user create.com and clicking send keys. And text is entered on the device. So let's enter password as well. Specifying password, send keys. Okay, and now I need to do submit. Tab. Okay, login is successful. And you can see that what we see in the SPY is a bit different from what we see on the device. Sometimes you may not have access to real device or simulator. It may be in some cloud hosting like South Labs or BrowserStack or Python. And in this case, if you feel that you don't see the recent image of the device, just click Get Snapshots button. Okay, here it is. Let's go to Crates tab in this application. Okay, getting snapshot. Here it is. So, and now I'm going to click on account again and perform logout. Clicking, okay, profile is not selectable. Tab and clicking logout. Tab. Okay, so I think that my steps are recorded correctly. Click and finish. And this is my test. I'm going to modify it a bit. So what I want to do is to take a screenshot when we navigate to Crates tab in the application. So I will insert a couple of lines here. First, I want to wait a bit to allow this page to load. So I do global do sleep. So let's wait for about 3 seconds, and then I want to do a screenshot. So we have a global object called Android, and it has do screenshot action. So what it does, it takes a screenshot and includes it into report. So now I am ready to run my test on Android simulator. I'm hitting play, and Appium starts listening to my commands, to commands from Rapise, and hopefully it will launch the application and replay my test. I see here is the application running, and all the steps are replayed. So again, when crates are loaded, we will have the screenshots. Okay, something did not work, so let's try to run it again. So it was a problem with screenshot taking on the device side. So we were probably too fast with this. So running again. So usually if something does not work, then try to rerun the test one more time, or maybe restart Appium. In many cases it helps. We see crates. Okay, the screenshot works well, and logging out. So now everything was fine without any issues. And here in the report, we can see the screenshot from the device. So it shows us that everything works correctly. So why I did this screenshot is because now I'm going to execute my test on real Android device attached to this machine. You won't be able to see it, but we will see the screenshot from it. So I'm clicking play. I see that test is executing, and now we will see the screenshot of the execution. And execution on the device was pretty fast. So opening of the screenshot, and this screenshot is from real Android Nexus hardware. You just saw how Android testing looks like. The next part was supposed to be about iOS testing, but it does not fit into 30-minute limit we have for each session. However, it is covered in one of our webinars. Thanks for watching. I'm Denis from Team Rapise at Inflectra. Thanks so much for joining me today.